Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Green Man channel. Hope you're doing good and well. So it's time for the second episode of the Dark Horse Disc series, the series where we talk about albums that tend to be underappreciated in bands' discographies. And I'm joined once again by three very special guests to talk about this debut album from Nirvana, one of the most influential bands, I think, in all of like popular music history and rock history. They're just a massive band. Hector's got his on vinyl. I've got my copy of Bleach on CD, um, but I'm the only one not wearing a band t-shirt, so I'm letting the side down in that sense. But yeah, we're here to talk about Nirvana's Bleach today. We have three rounds. First round is us giving what our first impressions were of the album, which for me feels like ages ago that I first listened to this. Second round, we talk about our three favorite tracks from the album. And then third round, the last time we go round, we'll say where we'd rank this in Nirvana's discography, and why we think it's a Dark Horse album. So today we're going to start with, in fact, I'll just welcome my guests quickly. We've got Rock of All Ages back once again. We've got
Hi.
Hector, Children on a Couch Reviews. Hi,
Hey
Hector.
man, happy to be
And,
here.
and we've got JC Rock and Metal Reviews as well.
Hello, thanks for having me.
You're welcome. So we're going to kick off with JC today for the first round.
Okay, so I discovered Nirvana back in 1991, pretty much like everyone or most people with Nevermind. I was this was actually like an album that really kind of moved me away from metal into like more alternative stuff. So yeah, there's Nevermind. At this point in time, I didn't know they had an album before this. I kind of thought it was their debut. And I probably believed that for maybe a couple of years. So I think I discovered Bleach after the Unplugged performance because that was when About a Girl became popular again and people talking about how that was from their first album. So that's when I went out and I actually went to the record store. I had to buy it because there was no other way to listen to albums back then. So I remember buying it, and yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a little different. It's a different sound. It's a lot more raw, and supposedly like the this is how grunge is supposed to sound. Like this was the original Sub Pop sound. I was kind of reading that when I was looking this up. But ever since then, I've always liked this album. I think it has some really good songs, and it's different than Nevermind. You know, they're kind of like two different types of albums, so that's why I like it. Yeah, so that's it for now. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. The first two. Mm.
Hector, do you want to go next?
In
Yeah,
utero is being left out.
Oh,
Oh,
no,
never
I
mind.
have almost the only one I don't have on vinyl is Aneurysm because I have the unplugged somewhere. I don't know where I put it. I have the unplugged too. So for me, uh, I first listened, obviously, like JC, I got into Nirvana because of Nevermind. But I did when I did get into Nirvana before the unplugged, I already had bought Bleach because I loved them, so I wanted to have all their albums. So I bought first I bought Nevermind, and I think after that I first bought Incesticide before Bleach, and then someone told me, oh, they have an album before that, and then I bought Bleach. Uh, Incesticide is great too. Even I almost count
Yeah.
that as an album. It has just a few but it has some deep cuts. So yeah, and Bleach. I like JC said. I remember when they did the unplug. He did about a girl, and at the end oh no, before he's like, this song is from our first album. Most people don't own it, so he said that at the beginning, and I think after the unplugged. With About a Girl, I think more people went and bought Bleach because some people just thought that Nevermind was their first album.
Yeah.
And obviously, after the after Nevermind was like very popular, because this was released in 1989. In 1992, Geffen did like a they reissued it, and that's when it sold more copies. And fun fact: this is Sub Pop's best-selling album of all time. at 1.5 million copies, I think. So Sub Pop, this is their bread and butter. This is the album that most sold for them. And yeah, my first impression when I listened to this, it's like, because my first impression of them was Nevermind. It's like, wow, this is more like JC said. It's more raw. It's in your face. But the weakest part on this album is, I'm sorry to say, Chad Channing's drums. He's no Dave Grohl. So yeah, uh, like he's good, but yeah, I can't tell why they went with another drummer for the other album. But yeah, no, I still enjoy it, and that's why I actually bought it on vinyl. And here we have the band picture right here, Bleach, and I think let me check the variant. It's like a clear, like a gray thing, and it sounds great, And this album was produced, like they did 3 sessions. It was produced with Jack and Dino for $600. So come on, at this time they didn't have the Nirvana money that they had. So I think that's why it sounds so raw. And Jack and Dino used to record a lot of those Seattle bands, like very raw, not Steve Albini type lore, but that type of recording. So yeah, I did listen to this when it came out, and yeah, I still enjoy listening to it.
Yeah, yeah, good thoughts, and yeah, there were a few bits of yeah, interesting parts of the history of this album there as well. Thanks, Hector. So we go on to Rock of All Ages. Your thoughts?
I was born after Kurt Cobain died, so I was not around to buy this album. Over on my channel, I talk about songs and bands that were big on the radio. As much as Nirvana is still omnipresent on the radio, um, that's all stuff from Nevermind and In Utero and maybe one or two things from the Unplugged show. I don't hear anything from Bleach. I think I've heard the unplugged version of About a Girl once or twice, but never the original. But Bleach is still unmistakably Nirvana. Kurt Cobain's vocals and songwriting are more or less the same here as they would be on Nevermind and In Utero, with the only notable changes being in the production. I suspected that the lack of polished production was less an intentional aesthetic choice and more because this album, as Hector said, had a budget of $600 or, and I calculated for inflation, $1,600 today, give or take. Just to be sure, I found an interview with Jack Endino, and he said nobody told him to make the record sound raw. He just did it that way because that's how the band sounded. The band didn't want overdubs or reverb or layering, and even if they did, Jack was recording them with an 8-track machine, so they couldn't do any of that anyway. But it's Nirvana. The raw sound is part of what people like about them, so it works, especially on this album.
Yeah, yeah, totally. Oh, yeah. So I bought the CD for this back in like I think it was either 2000 or 2001 because I'd known Nirvana for a little while. Me and my friends got into them like so many people. Through Nevermind and In Utero. Didn't really know about this album so much. In fact, I hadn't even heard of it for a long time. And I guess this was just about before everything was really widely accessible on the internet. So um, I can't remember exactly how I came about it, but I do remember there being something attractive about an album which not everybody is talking about so much. It kind of has a different sheen to it to Nevermind and In Utero. You're like, oh, that's a Nirvana album, and I think my friends didn't really they weren't really aware of it either at that point. So there was definitely something attractive about finding that album, that not even your friends really know and checking it out for the first time. And it's, as you guys have all touched on, it's kind of much more of a raw production on it. It's got a punky, sort of grungy, dirtier feel than the two later albums from Nirvana. And I really enjoy that about this album. I just like that the sound, and it's kind of a little bit repetitive in a good hypnotic kind of way. All these riffs get stuck in your head, and I think I do like actually quite a few of the guitar riffs actually in this album. I think they're quite clever in a way, even though they're repetitive. They're like really getting you. They're very earwormy as well, and It's
I
interesting.
think
I
another
think
way to I think another way to describe the album is that it has a Melvins like sludginess to it.
yeah, yeah, definitely the Melvins. I
Mm.
think were probably. I mean, they were pretty
I
big
think they were
nowadays.
friends with Nirvana.
Yeah, yeah,
Yep. Kurt Cobain was very influenced by the Melvins. Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah, for sure.
Mm.
Um, and yeah, I found it just really immediate. So really, really immediate, really catchy, and yeah, I've been back to it quite a bit as well. Actually, out of all the Nirvana albums, I've maybe been back to this one more, just because I hear so much from the other albums so often that it's sort of, it kind of makes it stick out a little bit more. So back to JC for your three favorite songs on Bleach.
All right. I would say I like the kind of middle of the album. For example, there's I'm gonna pick three songs that I like in a row. Uh, Love Buzz, that's a cover song. I actually didn't know it at first, but and I'm not really familiar with the original, but I think that's a pretty cool song. And I think Love Buzz is kind of the type of song which kind of shows the direction where they would be going in Nevermind. So I like that. I like Paper Cuts. It's a deep cut, but it shows the heavier side. It really shows. I mean, I think like this album in general, I think it's a mix of like sludge and metal and punk and grunge, which really didn't really exist back then. But Paper Cuts, definitely a very heavy song, and going into Negative Creep, which is maybe my favorite. It's a simple song. Lyrics are simple. They say like two lines and the whole thing repeated, but and probably the guitar riff, I don't know, it's probably like only like two notes or whatever, but it's so simple, but it's heavy, and I think it just works. So I think I just like the entire sound of that. And those gonna be my three. I could pick more. I mean, I like About a Girl. That's probably the obvious choice as well, but I would say those three in the middle of the album are my favorites. Yeah.
Great picks. Great
Yep.
picks.
Mm.
Hector, your three.
Mm.
Nice. So yeah, so this album, just what I have, this one is remastered from the original tapes. So it sounds better. So I love Negative Creep. Like JC said, it's a simple tone, and he's like I'm a negative creep and I'm stoned, and then he's like that is little girl and a girl no more. Okay, pretty easy song, but it's kind of weird, like listening to Kurt Cobain singing a song. I think he's criticizing it because he was very pro like women and women's rights, and he wore dresses sometimes to sing. But it's a great song, and I think it's one of like the most metal Nirvana songs with a simple riff. So I love that one. I also love School. Like, won't you believe it? It's just my luck. Ain't no research. So I like it because they're pretty. These songs here are pretty simple, but you can tell that Kurt Cobain was really good at writing like catchy songs, which he didn't perfected on Nevermind. But on this one, you could tell the potential. And I'm gonna pick one of the later songs, which I don't know, I like it, and I just love the title, "Big Cheese," because he's like big cheese. I'm like, I'm just like, it's kind of cool. Obviously, About a Girl is a great song, but I don't know, I like that. I like the deep cuts on
Yeah.
this record. I think it's like some of the rawest music that Nirvana ever put, and I like it because it's so different to like what I love about Nirvana is that every album is different. Like you can tell that it's them, but it has like a different vibe because
Yeah.
In Utero is different than Nevermind. Nevermind is different than this, and Incesticide as well. So but you can still tell that it's Nirvana. But yeah, those are my three tracks.
Great choices again. Rock of all ages.
I'm going to start with a hot take. Negative Creep is actually one of my least favorite songs on the album.
Hmm.
I just don't like Kurt's vocals on that song. And I actually told this to Chili, and he said, "Well, maybe you'd like it better in a live version." So I looked up a live version, and yeah, I like it better that way. But yeah, I did not realize that was going to be a hot take. Mm. As for my top three, third place is Swap Meet. Musically, this feels like a precursor to Breed from Nevermind. Lyrically, and I'm going to borrow from Rolling Stone magazine for this, it's about two hometown losers too busy exchanging arts and crafts to shut up and have sex already. Kurt Cobain
I
apparently
think I read
enjoyed
that somewhere.
Kurt Cobain apparently enjoyed visiting thrift stores in Seattle, and presumably it was in one of those where he met the people who inspired Swap Meet. Second place is Mr. Mustache. Mr. Mustache was inspired by a comic strip of the same name that Kurt drew as a teenager. The song and the comic strip were mocking the rednecks that Kurt grew up around in rural Washington state. I recall an interview where Kurt said his mom wouldn't let him be friends with a gay kid. So this was a topic that Kurt took very seriously. And my favorite song on the album is Scoff. This song is about a neglectful father. Give me back my alcohol. Give me back my alcohol. Uh,
Oh, that's a good one too.
It's a good
yeah.
song. Yeah.
Also, all my songs are right next to each other on the track list. This album develops a new layer of meaning when you realize a good chunk of it was Kurt flipping off people he knew.
He sounds, I mean, on this album more than I think the other two, he sounds quite unhinged on this record, doesn't he? Like he's just
Yeah.
letting go of lots of like the troubled elements from his life. He's just kind of letting go of it, you know. And I believe lots of the lyrics were done very, very shortly before the actual recording of it.
There's an anecdote that Kurt wrote like 80% of the lyrics the night before the recording session. Although they did this in three sessions, so I don't know which one he was
Yeah. Yeah, which
he
one?
would have done this for.
Yeah. Yeah, great choices again. So I don't think any of my picks are new ones that you haven't, one of you hasn't chosen. They're like a mixture, I think. So I went for school. I think that Hector went for school.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, the lyrics are really, you look up the lyrics and I was thinking it's just like, I think two or three different lines of lyrics and just repeated, but it's a really good song. I think in Kurt just makes it work. It's like almost like minimalist, but that he just really makes that. I love that chorus, that no recess chorus is it gets stuck in your head. Um, my second pick is Negative Creep, which I think JC and Hector picked, and obviously it was your least favorite rock of all ages, but I really like that. And actually, I went to see a Nirvana tribute band recently in Colchester, and they played Negative Creep. And you know, we were kind of I was with a couple of friends and rocking out to Negative Creep because to me that is one of my favorite Nirvana songs. It's like to date.
You
So
know what's funny? When I looked up that live version of Negative Creep, you know how when you look up a song, it'll show you like upcoming tour dates from that artist on YouTube?
yeah,
So I looked up for Negative Creep by Nirvana, and then under the video it said upcoming dates for Nirvana. I'm like, the hell? Eh, I think
No,
maybe they mean a cover band,
it must mean.
unless
it's a
they
hologram tour.
it could be a hologram, it could be like a zombie Kurt Cobain. I don't know. But yeah, that was weird.
Or
And that
probably Courtney Love dressed as him.
I mean, doesn't she have her own band?
Yes,
well,
it's
she did
called
Hole.
Hole.
Yeah, yeah.
And my third choice is one that Rock of All Ages did pick, which was Swap Meet. And mainly because I love the guitar riff in that one. The dun 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 dun. That's sort of kind of bluesy and it's really inventive actually. Like to come up with that. Like I don't know how you just come up with guitar riffs like that. It's just really interesting riff. Um, so that's my third choice. Swap Meet. So you got School, Negative Creep, and Swap Meet. So we're going now for the final round. Back to JC for where this is tough actually. Where you'd rank this in the Nirvana catalog, and then why you think it's basically a dark horse or why it might be considered, yeah, a dark horse.
All right. So ranking the albums. Well, I'll rank four of them. I think like Incesticide, I like that a lot. I remember buying that when it came out. It has good songs, but that would be at the bottom. And at number three, I guess it's kind of hard to say, but I mean, I'd probably put this one, even though I like it a lot. I'll put Bleach at number three. And then two and one is going to be back and forth between either In Utero and Nevermind. And I might even actually give the edge to In Utero as number one and Nevermind number two, only because Nevermind is great, but it kind of has a little bit of an overplayed feeling at this point. I think like Smells Like Teen Spirit. I loved it when it came out, but I think at this point I'm kind of burned out in it. So I think that might put it down a little bit to the number two spot. And I would say In Utero would be their best album. So why is it a dark horse? I mean, I think just the obvious reason is that it gets overlooked by Nevermind, and by Nevermind, and then later in Utero. So I think I would honestly say that most people were like me, who were around in 1994 when they didn't know it existed. So I think a lot of people are like that. So probably a lot of people, again, like me, discovered this album after the Unplugged show, because I remember About a Girl was kind of big, and I think they reissued it after that one. And I think that's the version that I used to have when I bought it back then, because I know that I'm looking at their Wikipedia page, and that one has the big cheese. I remember listening to that song back then, so that was another good song. But anyway, so yeah, so that's really why it's Dark Horse, because it gets overshadowed by their big breakout album, and I think a lot of people didn't know about it. But I think if Nevermind wasn't a success, I think like Nirvana maybe would have gone in a different direction and maybe gone back to the style. I mean, who knows? So I think it's interesting, because this was what they were originally supposed to sound like, but then with Nevermind, I think with the new producer, he pushed them to kind of be going to more of like a poppy sound, and that really worked for them. But so yeah, so that's my answer here. Mm.
Cool. Hector?
Yeah. So for me, this album is like the long lost brother. So there's the two brothers like, oh, I'm more popular. People like me better. And this comes like, please love me. I'm good too. So unlike JC, I'm thinking I'm in the minority here. I bought this before the Unplugged. So yeah, I bought before the Unplugged. I have every Nirvana album. How would I rank them? Obviously, Incesticide, even though it's great, I think it's 4, because it has obviously some B-sides and stuff. Number 3 would be The Long Lost Brother, and it's just because the other two are just so amazing. And just like JC, I have a hard time struggling, which one is better? But I think it depends on the day. But I love Nevermind. This was my first, I'm going to cover the PP. this was my first love of the album. I have a funny story about this album. My daughter, when she was little, she's like, "Oh, I'm the baby on the cover." I'm like, "No, that baby has a penis." So I'm
and also sued the band.
And he grew up there's the whole story of the whole legal case, isn't there, as well?
Yeah.
But I think just like the JC, I think In Utero, I put it slightly a bit number 1, and it's because Nevermind has been so played. Also, In Utero is so raw that I think In Utero and Bleach have more in common with each other
Mhm.
than Nevermind.
Yeah.
Because as you can tell, they even though they love Nevermind, they wanted to go back to a raw sound, but this is rawer but better produced. You know, it's a better band. Also, it has Dave Grohl
Yeah.
than this one. But yeah, I do believe this is a dark horse. And if you're a Nirvana fan and you never bought this, I'm like, buy it. Give it a chance because there's some great raw stuff here for Nirvana. And yeah, I do believe it is a dark horse because of that. Like the album says, like, love
Yeah.
me.
The long lost brother. I like that analogy. It's the long lost brother of
The
Nirvana.
long lost brother. Yeah.
Yeah. Rock of all ages. Your final thoughts and where you'd rank it?
Nevermind and In Utero debatably had more memorable hooks, although that might just be because I've heard the songs from those albums 10 million times. But Bleach is a good, solid headbanging album. No softer songs like Polly or Something in the Way or Serve the Servants. Just a simple, heavy album that would probably make for a crazy mosh pit. If we're counting Incesticide, Bleach is easily a top four Nirvana album.
Okay. Oh, is that your thoughts?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Yep. All right. So I think my ranking, this will be difficult actually. So I had to think about this. If we're including Incesticide, I think I've been saying three albums, but yes, of course you have Incesticide in the mix with the B-sides. Um, I think that would be four for me probably. And even though I've been saying I go back to Bleach more, that kind of makes me want to put it higher up, but I don't think I can because Nevermind was so influential on me and on so many people. I can't sort of pretend that Bleach is. I often honestly think that Nevermind is a huge album and it was so impactful. I don't think Bleach would have had that same impact on me when I was younger. So for that reason, Bleach would be three still. Nevermind two and Inarritero one. So pretty much the same sort of ranking really. But yeah, I think it's a dark horse. Basically, yeah, the long lost brother is the right analogy. I feel like it's the one the phrase the one before the big one comes to mind. This was before Nevermind. So we're as with so many other bands where the biggest album, the one before can quite often like feel like it's slightly in the shadows. I mean, I'm now trying to think of a band. I suppose with I was going to say so far so good. So what with Megadeth, but I guess Peace Soul's already kind of got them quite popular. But yeah, it's kind of that one before the big one type scenario for me with Nirvana and Bleach. So it's just in the shadows. I think that was the way JC described it. Yeah, but yeah, definite dark horse. But Nirvana as a band, are the least kind of dark horse band out there. They're massively popular. Their legacy is secured for a long, long time. So they're not exactly a dark horse band. But I think we're more or less agreed. This album is sort of a dark horse disc in its own right. So Bleach, go check it out. Do check out Bleach if you've not checked out Nirvana's Bleach and you've been enjoying their more popular tracks. So that brings us to the end of this particular episode. But now, as I usually like to do, give my guests a chance to say what's coming up on their respective channels. So, JC, what have you got coming up on your channel?
Uh, okay, yeah, I have. Well, I just did my weekly roundup, which came out today, of the new metal albums, which included the new Burning Witches, which was something I was looking forward to. I like that band a lot, and a couple other underground ones. Let me just open up my studio because I pre-recorded a couple albums for next week. I have Black Sabbath Tear from 1990. That's a retro review. Alice in Chains Facelift. That one I think just had an anniversary, but that one I kind of planned it for like a little later. And I have another video that I did about one-hit wonders of 80s metal. So those are all already scheduled to premiere next week.
Oh, sounds good.
So
Yeah,
that's pretty
one
much
one
it.
hit wonders of 80s metal. I'll definitely check that out. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that one I think I have for the 28th. Yeah.
Okay. Look
Yeah.
out for that, everybody. Make sure you're subbed to JC's channel if not already.
Both
Uh,
of his channels.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't mention that one. I have another one which is all about physical media. I just got done recording one about Metal Church. I have the CD right next to me. It's a box
Nice.
set. Yeah.
Nice.
Cool. Yeah. Hector, what's coming up on the couch?
Yeah. So I only have one channel because I have two kids. I can't do more
Yeah.
than
I don't know what I'm letting
I,
myself in for trying to do a second channel myself.
I
Yeah.
have two kids, a fiance, and a full-time job. My my
It's
my
good.
plate is full. So coming up, if everyone must know, I'm still aroused by the last Deftones album. That was the joke. If you know, when I was doing that Deftones album review, the clips I recorded them like 3 days in advance. I hadn't heard the album in full, but I knew that I wanted those clips in there. So I did the
That's made me want to revisit American Pie actually, just to remember it.
yeah. So I have that. The Deftones review is up. I also there this weekend we had an Is It That Bad for the latest Rise Against album, which people are calling the Saint Anger of Punk. So yeah,
Wouldn't
that's
that be Father of All by Green Day?
Father of All. No, no, no. Father of All. That doesn't sound like Saint Anger. That sounds like a huge Cap commercial. Which also JC. I covered that one with JC and Chili. We did that
Yeah,
for an
we
Is It
did
That
that. We
Bad?
did that band.
I know you did that one, but I would think in terms of
Yeah.
like, oh, everyone knows this album is terrible. Like that would be a candidate.
Yeah. That album is terrible because it sounds like a huge Cap commercial.
Mhm.
The songs are
Mhm.
But
terrible.
Hector, it had no Swedish songwriters.
No, no, none. But yeah, don't tell me about that Green Day album. That's one of the worst albums ever. So also as we're talking now, today I premiered my new review for the 3 Days Grace, and I swapped because today we were going to have two Is It That Bad this weekend, but I felt like yeah maybe I wanted to let the Rise Against breathe. So next week is the Is It That Bad that actually Tom and Rockefeller yes we did for the new Good Charlotte record. So that's coming next weekend. I believe next will be next Sunday. So yeah, and I have a few interesting albums to review coming up for this week. So yeah, that's what's coming on the couch.
Lots more records to come. It's almost at that autumn season or fall season, as you say in the States. So yeah, all lots of albums to come. Lots of albums to come. And Rock of All Ages, your schedule, what's coming up?
Well, before I show that, I do find it funny that Kurt Cobain would wear dresses to public events, and Hector's daughter is like, "I'm the baby on the Nevermind cover." Like she is already embodying the spirit of Kurt Cobain.
Very
Yes.
true. Very true. Yeah, yeah.
As
She'll be a
as
Nirvana
for
fan.
what,
Well, also my son said that he was the baby on the cover, and I'm like, yes, you're anatomically correct, but like you weren't born in 1991. They don't know a sense of time. If you haven't seen my review for 3 Days Grace, I put in a story about my kids because I was listening to the album on the car yesterday, and there's a song called "Kill Me Fast."
Mhm.
So I had to do the story of because my kids they're starting to review music as well.
Ooh,
Hmm.
Okay.
getting in the family business. Nice. Uh, so what I have coming up, I don't know when this video is premiering, but after we
Tuesday.
record this, I have a video about Turnstile that I did with Matt from Diazable Reviews. And then start of September, I have my 100th episode. And
Congratulations.
it is,
100
thank you.
episodes.
It is the longest episode so far on my channel. So bring some snacks.
And a couple of drinks, right?
Sure.
Sounds good. Awesome, awesome. Yeah, lots to look forward to. Yeah, on my channel, obviously, yeah, this is going to go up on Tuesday. So prior to this going up, my horror channel will be up and running. The two Friday the 13th videos are ready to go and premiering on Sunday, which is today as we're recording this, 2 days ago as you're watching this. Um, so on this channel though, more I guess because most people are sub to me for the Green Man. More importantly, we have got a couple of videos that I've still got in the pipeline that I just haven't completed yet. Which one is the Arch Enemy album ranking? The other one is a video about After Forever, the sort of hidden gem of symphonic metal, as I'm calling them, pretty much. And got an interview coming up with Mark Persino of Electrocutioner, who has been on Is It That Bad, hasn't he? So yeah, that's going to be cool.
Yeah.
So that will be coming soon because they've got a new album coming out, Electrocutioner Harbinger, on the 5th of
They
September.
do.
So I'm plugging that a bit now as well. So that'll be fun talking to him yesterday as this is showing tomorrow. as we, I'm really confusing everybody now with my timing talk. So yeah, let's wrap things up here now. So yeah, thanks to all my guests once again for the second episode of Dark Horse Discs. The third episode will be coming pretty soon as well, so do look out for the next entry in this series. And yeah, from me and my guests, it is bye for now.